I'm Sari Cooper, a certified sex therapist and sex coach in New York City. I'll be your host of Sex Esteem, a new show where we will explore in all its expressions relationships and sex in the modern world. Tune in for fun-filled facts and entertaining tips to having a more pleasurable sex life. We're here today at the Pleasure Chest, a sex toy shop on the Upper East Side, where they have an amazing array of toys and accessories. Hi, this is Sari Cooper from Sex Esteem, and our guest today is Beau Blaze, an educator and an alternative sexual lifestyle coach. And I wanted to welcome you to Sex Esteem.
Well, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your experience as an educator.
And one of the things that I've done for many, many years is I've been the facilitator for the novice group for the Eulenspiegel Society, which is also called TESS in New York City, and it's the oldest and largest BDSM support group in the country.
So why don't we start by talking about what exactly BDSM is?
BDSM is bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, and sadomasochism. And those all come together to form kinky sex, basically, and that's what it basically is an overview of.
So let's talk about the common myths that people have about BDSM. A lot of people feel like if you're going to go into that realm of kinky sex where there's somewhat dominant submissiveness or some sort of pain inflicted, that you must have had some sort of abuse as a child. So I really wanted to discuss that.
You knock it out of the park right off the bat, because that is, of course, the number one thing I think people think. They think, you know, well, you must have been abused, you poor person.
How do people set up contracts? You know, 50 Shades talks about this contract that Christian Grey puts out in front of Anastasia Steele. So what is it that people in the community do? Do they actually have written contracts?
Hey. Hi, baby.
Hey, Boo.
Hi. Oh my god, this book just keeps getting better. As you know, I'm reading 50 Shades of Grey, which I think you should be reading. Maybe you should download it.
Alright, I'll think about it.
Because we should have like a sexy book club, just you and me.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay.
Okay, because this last thing I just read is about like spicing things up, and the couple creates like a contract. So we can like
a sex contract.
Yes,
okay.
pretty much.
Okay.
So basically we can like come up with like ideas for like new things to incorporate into our repertoire.
Or is it more of a verbal thing?
The most exciting thing that would be more like negotiation forms, and we use those to communicate.
You know, I brought my laptop. Let's like, you want to like write some ideas down?
Oh yeah. Okay.
I was just thinking like, because this book is just like giving me a lot of good ideas.
All right.
I want to share them with you.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great. I'm down.
Okay. So for instance, rocker fantasy. Okay. Let's just stick with that. Like Mick Jagger is someone that like yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh hello.
Oh yes.
Oh, long hair. And
Oh,
fast.
stop it, stop it.
Okay, all right,
So Mick,
all right.
okay, so can you dress up like Mick Jagger from now on?
Jeans are tight.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Maybe not every time.
So I do the same thing with some of my clients. I have a form that's not necessarily kink only. It has a variety of activities, and I really ask people to fill it out as a way to start the conversation. The thing I think that's very interesting and useful for maybe non-kink people to learn from this is that there's a lot of negotiation, there's a lot of discussion, and there's a lot of trust and care in these kinds of relationships. For some people in this community, they play together, but they're not necessarily a couple, while other people are actually you know, a couple, a monogamous couple that come to it and want to expand their menu.
Maybe you can indulge me and do a little Wonder Woman.
Oh, I like the cape. Okay, that's fine. I can indulge in that.
Okay.
So in 50 Shades of Grey, Christian Grey is a control freak, both inside his regular life and in his erotic life. But I think that a lot of people might not consider the fact that people who are in charge in their outside lives sometimes want to be submissive and they want to surrender. And I think that's a kind of paradoxical relationship that a lot of people don't really understand.
We all usually have a dominant side, a submissive side, or whatever. For some people, they don't like to say that, so we can just call it, something different. But the reality is, I think that you often find that people who are being very honest with themselves, have that other side. It's just, do they want to let that out or not?
Honey, the pasta's almost ready.
Okay, good. Did you put the pot roast in the oven like that?
Of course. I
I guess arriving in 20 minutes, so it's... No, you didn't do it right.
I thought that this was lined up like you told me.
Yeah, you have to have the knives facing towards the plate.
Oh, facing towards the plate.
Yes.
Huh.
I've seen people who are the head of their business, have very sort of high-speed kinds of jobs. When they come home and they want to be with their spouse or their partner, they really want to be told what to do. They want someone else to make all the plans. They want to be taken care of. So from an erotic standpoint, I can see that that can happen as well and I've seen it with my clients, that happens in relationships.
Interesting.
This one isn't correct either. The knife has to go inward into the plate.
Inwards of plate.
Chad.
You have 15 minutes before everyone else gets here.
You have time for a quick appetizer?
I think so.
There are 3 words that have to be involved if you're going to be a moral player in that community, and they are safe, sane, and consensual.
Oh, you show Ralph Lauren who's boss.
I will. Oh, you ready for some of this Brooks Brothers?
Oh, yes. Oh, Chad. Oh, so bad.
You're so
Oh,
bad.
so bad.
Oh.
So good, it's so bad. Oh, it's like with the country club.
It's like riding a horse thing.
Oh, yeah, like
Oh.
sailboat or something.
Oh, wait. The doorbell?
Oh, yes.
Get her here.
Okay.
Just a minute.
Get the sweater, get the sweater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
One sec, hi.
Risk-aware consensual kink is one, which is rack. The problem here is semantics. I liken it to doing martial arts or playing football or something like that. This is inherently has some risk, so you should be aware of that. But you want to always be as safe as you can, as sane as you can, and always consensual.
You mentioned the word safe word, and usually that word can't be a yes or a no, right? It has to be another word that someone can have access to when they're in the midst of a scene. And is red a most common safe word?
Yeah, red and safe word are probably the most common, the actual word safe word.
Stop. Don't stop.
I can't. I won't.
Stop, don't.
So a contract is more of a ritual type of thing, but couples do negotiate limits. Some are soft, some are hard, right?
Sorry. So in the book, they
Okay.
say like there's something called like a hard limit and a soft limit. So like if it's a soft limit, it's like something you're like open for. But if it's a hard limit, it's like
There's
something.
no limit to how hard my dick will get you, girl.
Rawr, yes.
Okay, that's sorry. I apologize. No. What actually is the hard limit?
Hard limit is like you're not into
Okay,
it.
okay,
So.
So how do they actually do that kind of negotiation and come to some sort of compromise?
I have something that I call my triangle of communication, right? Because communication is everything. It's the most important thing in every relationship, not just BDSM. But imagine now put power and control into a relationship, and boy, is it important, right?
Okay, another idea.
Okay.
Mile High Club. Okay.
Whoa.
We're going to
Right
Italy.
there, okay.
Yes, we're
All
going
right,
to Italy
all
this
right.
summer. Let's
Great.
join the club.
Yes.
Am I right?
Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna fit in the bathroom. We're very small.
But that, okay, so international flights, actually,
that
the
bigger?
planes are larger.
Okay, cool.
So it's going to be a bigger bathroom.
Uh-huh.
We will make it I mean, come on. That's like a hot thing. So we'll make
Yeah.
it work. Even if
Yeah,
you're sitting or
yes.
standing, I'm just saying.
Great.
Okay, so Mile High Club. But okay, only international flights.
Only international.
We're not
so, like,
doing
no
this domestic bullshit, no. See, this is like...
But like, how are we gonna
culture.
now? If there happens to be like a very I'm thinking like 5'10", brunette, blue-eyed, like French flight attendant.
No.
What?
No.
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 Why? I mean.
Because it's already a big deal that you're getting me at like whatever 30,000 feet altitude. No.
Yeah. Why can't we just say?
Unless it's a hot pilot
No,
who's like
no pilots.
Argentinian pilot with a hat on.
Why is he Argentinian?
I'm just
Why
saying.
is he Argentinian and I'm going to Europe?
I'm just saying there's a lot of South American pilots that are very
No,
attractive.
absolutely
okay, thank
not.
you. That's
Hard
what it is.
limit.
Hard limit.
Hard limit on
there we go.
hot Argentinian pilots for you.
And French, sexy, blue-eyed, whatever.
I think you're missing a big opportunity.
What we first talk about is always just clear and consistent verbal communications at the top of the triangle. And that's just, we should always be talking. We should always be talking about what we're interested in, what we're not interested in. Before we were talking about, which is negotiation forms. And negotiation forms is so that some people aren't very verbal. Right? And not even people who are verbal may not feel that comfortable about talking about certain things.
So what is the third pillar or the third point in your triangle?
Well, something we call homework. And what homework is, and it's really exciting, is the fact that, okay, so we've had that scene. Now we want to find out, how did it really go? And what we want is we want to set it up so that the person who's the top tells their bottom, listen, I want you to tell me only the truth. I would never be mad at you for whatever you write, and I want you to tell me like it's like a diary. And then what happens is, you might have been working all week long on some great fantasy, and you're hanging from the chandeliers, and you're doing all this crazy stuff, and so you play, and it's fun, and it was wonderful, and then you get back, and you can't wait to see your homework, and you read, and it has nothing to do with the chandeliers at all until the very end says, oh, and the chandeliers were fun.
You know, it reminds me a lot of art, because when you go see art and the artist had a certain intention, what the viewer sees may not be anything that the artist had in mind, but
Exactly.
It's really the beauty and the feeling that's in the eye of the beholder, right? And so I think what you're saying is that even in these kinds of experiences, people get something different out of it, and it's important to process it.
Oh yeah. So can we start like right now?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're
Yeah. Okay.
my favorite book.
So by homework, we get to say, oh, it was just that? Oh, well, now I know how to please you even better next time.
It seems to me that it's also an issue of trust, that you can rely on someone both as a submissive and as a dominant. And I think the thing that people don't realize is they think that the dominant, like Christian Grey, is the one that's in total control. But in fact, the sub has as much power, if not more power, than the dominant, wouldn't you say? Because they can call the scene to a halt.
This is about two people playing two roles that make them feel more whole.
Great. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Thank you for joining us on Sex Esteem, and I hope you learned something new about BDSM and 50 Shades of Grey. See you next time.